I'm a big believer in, if anyone's going through anything like I've been through, do not try and stop life, because you cannot. Life will just keep going forward. I think if you do try and stop it, you're probably going to get yourself in a bit of trouble. You've got to roll with life. Whatever it is, you've got to just keep going forward as best you can. But he is the worst person. You're a terrible driver as well.
That was a great driver.
He will not take it. He's an awful driver. Dan Carter was a very good looking man. Anyway, and he was a target, like, because these great players are. And I saw him at the bottom of a ruck, and just me being me, I thought if I fly it, because as again I'm short, I can get away with a few things, like coming in. And I went to knee him, and literally moved his head last second, and I just hit Brownie square in the nose. You know, you've got to be okay that you are happy.
Welcome to For the Love of Rugby. Now, after being hounded from the listeners, we finally managed to get him out of Norfolk, off the tractor, and here. You're actually on a trip anyway, so it worked out great. Farming trip, well. I'll have you know. It is, of course, my brother Tom, who's in the studio with us. So he's finally on the podcast, Coley.
Well, yeah, but I would like to say he hasn't come specifically for the podcast.
No, he hasn't. Do you want to explain?
Tell us the trip you're on. This is just a little...
I'm on a farming trip around Leicestershire, and we thought we'd just tie it in. I'm happy. I haven't had to pay any transport to get here.
Yeah,
it's been very good. So I feel like I'm saving a lot of money doing it like this. I think it's a lot better. No, it's good to be here though. It's an exciting place, lads.
With your farming trip, what have you seen in Leicestershire that's not happening in Norfolk?
More wheat fields,
right.
hillier.
Yeah,
it's a bit hillier down. Heavier soils.
Right, yeah.
That's about it, really. Okay. Basically, we just come up here for 2 nights away from everyone, and we can drink as much as we want to drink and have a lot of fun.
We were actually laughing earlier today in the change room because JVP's grandfather's obviously there. Bill's on the trip, and we were saying, like, do you reckon they just lean up against a fence and go, good cow, that, isn't it? And they go, yeah. And they go, where'd you get that from? They're like, Melton Mowbray Market. And they're like, Get their pen out and go, Melton Mowbray Market, nice cow. Right, next field.
Well, right, to be fair.
A bit dry, a bit thirsty. Anyone got a beer? What's in that field? That's wheat.
Yeah.
Got a beer?
No one just gets on the bus now, just drive past fields and we just carry on to the... Yeah.
We've got a lot of chickens, so...
we did have an incident
earlier. Use them for eggs? Yeah.
We did have an incident
the same in Norfolk.
We lost half the group because we had to go up a fairly decent hill, so we had to leave some of them down the bottom at the end. So we went up there and listened to about the gamekeeping and stuff like that of this little estate we were looking around. But it's not all about farming. They've gone on Rutland Water to look at ospreys at the moment, and they're all having a drink. So I've actually come away from that.
Nice.
And I'm here.
So
yeah.
Wildlife, get rid of that.
Yeah.
But is tied in a bit of rugby because, as we said, I spoke to JVP earlier, and his grandpa's ringing him up. Trying to get him to host the stadium tour tomorrow.
Oh, no, yeah.
And it turns out you're on the tour.
Yeah.
You're on the thing. So why don't you just get the former club captain to tour the stadium?
I don't want to do it, Dan.
That's the pitch. That's the changing rooms. That's one stand. That's another stand.
I hope these
There's
guys...
the bar.
I hope they're not expecting much more than that, really.
And by the way, Leicester, they used to have sheep on the pitch. Look at this. Look at this picture. There you go. Right, everyone's happy.
That used to be a mound, that stand
what
there.
Time's lunch?
Anyone first?
We got that tomorrow. Yeah, we got that tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, when we get back, we're going up to Nottinghamshire to another farm. Funny enough.
Yep.
A Strawson farm, whose dad used to work for back in the day when he played here. So we're going to that, and then on the way back, we're going to do a tour around the ground. So I guess I'll be leading it. I don't really want to because, as you say, Dan, it's limited. Here's a stadium. Here's a pitch.
To be honest, the benches they are about 100 years old.
True, and also I will obviously the noise.
Have you been in? You must have been in the stadium when the change room changed.
They've opened it up now.
Yeah, because it was a couple of years ago, wasn't it? Literally, remember when we first walked in there? It was like, what the fuck's happened here? It's like just took out a wall and it totally threw everyone. It was like this.
I missed that wall.
First time we did it, they did that, and then we had a pre-season game. And Neffy, I'm going to out him, right? Neffy, who's 140 kilo Samoan prop, right? He did a shit. He did. And it stunk so bad. I was gagging. I threw up in the bin, because it was so bad. And I was getting changed 10 metres away from the toilet. I had to go out 10 minutes early for the warm-up because it was disgusting. It's absolutely foul. Right? I'm throwing up in a bin. Lads are losing the plot. Neffy, if you listen to this, you are a disgrace.
Big old Neff. He was very good at the Bronco, Neff. He was very good at the Bronco.
He's also... Steve Borthwick was driving back on a Friday night or something like that.
No, I think Steve went
through town.
Steve went for a walk
yes.
on a Friday night. Just went for a walk to like late at night, didn't he? And he basically walked past a chip shop. And so I saw this like ginormous human in there. He's like, it's a bit like Neff that. Like, he wouldn't be that unprofessional. He'd be having fish and chips night before a game, would he?
Just getting fish and chips for the kids, wasn't he? Just
like
for the family, mate. Just for the
that day.
Just having mushy peas, bro.
The next day before the game, Neff was like, pretty sure I saw Steve walk past a chip shop. He's like, it was you, wasn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
he fucking...
Yeah.
The best story about he exploded that.
The best story about the old change room was it Europe? What was his name?
Ulrich, yeah.
When Cockers came in, because we used to sit on the other side, the forwards did, and he came in to get through, and Cockers went like that with the door, and it wedged his head between the door frame and the door, and he couldn't move. Cockers was just pushing the door against his head. Keep the effing door closed. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Had to manip his own jaw back.
Right.
Oh yeah, where were we?
Stadium tour.
There we go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that was that. We were laughing about that today.
Do you remember also in the changing rooms they changed all the lights and all the wingers started getting migraines?
Really
didn't they?
bright.
Like they too bright for them.
Didn't it sum it up? Didn't it?
Yeah,
Backs
exactly,
forwards.
yeah.
I'll get a migraine. Jesus,
They want
do
a
a
lick
scrum, mate, for a second.
Exactly. They want a lick of paint. They want new lights. They get it, and then they get a fucking headache. Like, some of them had to get changed in the corridor, didn't they? Because it's too bright. It's like, oh, what are we doing here?
Well, the showers have been updated.
Good.
Which is great.
That's decent.
But there's no pressure in them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So someone might as well
I still
dribble
like
on
the
you.
old bath there, didn't it? Like, yeah.
And also, this year we've got one of the we've got the proper electric ice bath. Not electric, it's not electric, but it's an ice bath with a pump in it, so like keeps it cool, regulated, like professional setup. But basically every game we have to lose 60% of the shower space to have a cold bath. Yeah, but we get the paddling pool that we made up with like hot, cold water in it, and no one goes at it. It's like we've got that there. It's like, no, we need this. It's like
the amount of hours they must waste of just filling these things up for us to not even use. Have a beer in the corner.
Yeah.
There we go.
The shower's been updated, but they only updated this year. I think Top Stars have been our sponsor for maybe like 4 seasons. And then one of the lads brought it up and was like, why don't we just get them to like retile it as part of, and they're like, yeah.
Could
you know what? That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
Anyway, so you can show them that.
Yeah.
One of those one of those farming trips way back. Big shout out to John Ross who passed away.
Yeah.
But JR, he was on this farming trip and he'd gone down for breakfast and then he came back to go to his room. Right, and his key wasn't working, so he then asked, maid, I can't get in my room. So she opened it up, and then he went. And then he screamed, "There's a man in my bed!" It's like, no, John, you're in the wrong room, mate.
JR.
that triggered me when we went to Bath, my first ever game for Leicester. I didn't tell us, but like when we played at the Rec, we stayed in the same hotel, and basically the first time I ever got there, they gave me my room key. I went up to my room to like check in. Open door. There was like a bra on the back of the seat. Open door. There's a woman like laying face down the bed. I was like, don't think this is my room.
You would have been so unawkward in that moment.
This is my room. This is my room. And I said, but Jim Hamilton was coming down the corridor. I'm like, Jim, my keys not really working. I think this is my room, but I'm not sure. It's like 3:07 when we open the door. He's like, hey, yeah.
Room for Big Jim.
2 hours later, there's this massive bouquet of flowers from reception given to this lady as she's checking out. Oh,
what a shock. The Leicester side coming in down the look.
There's the Argentina tour and Dean Benton, who's an S&C guy, is a serious character, and he'd gone in a room and then Johnny May, for whatever reason, got given the same key. But then when he walked in the door, Dean was in between the 2 beds on the floor. But no one, Johnny walked in and he couldn't work out what he was doing, but he was up to something booky in between the 2 beds, right? Thinking he had some alone
stretching.
Time. Anyway, Dean pops up. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? And fight or flight, storms Johnny naked. Johnny's like, what? He closes the door.
You're not leaving now, boy.
Anyway, he goes and tells Eddie, he's like, Eddie, mate, the weirdest thing just happened. And Eddie couldn't breathe. He couldn't breathe. He's like, he did what, John? He's like, what is he going to do? He's like, tell me again, what was he doing? He's like, he was naked between 2 beds. And honestly, he went on for every time he saw Johnny, he couldn't breathe. He couldn't breathe. This went on for 5 days. Every time you see him, he couldn't get it out. Anyway,
so long story short, you finally come.
Yeah, you finally come
here.
And you're in the pod.
There you go.
We actually got a question from a listener, Ash, and he says, how bad is Lenny's tractor handling? Will he be helping you with the harvest? And baling hay, seeing as he won't be doing pre-season?
No, not a chance. He is the worst person. You're a terrible driver as well.
That was a great
He will not take it. He's an awful driver. He won't concentrate. He's created so much damage on the farm. You know, he was actually quite smart when he was younger. When it's like when your mum and dad or parents try and say, "Can you go and do this?" And I'd be like, "I've got to get this right and do it really well." So you get asked again. Ben's approach was like, if I do a really shit job, I'll never get asked to do it again. So I can stay on my PlayStation, do whatever I want to do. But no, he won't be joining on the farm. I hope you're not. You're not joining on the
I
farm.
have no intentions on.
No,
Unless you are really
really struggling. I still think I'd get Maisie or someone else. To be fair,
get Boris to come out.
Were you cutting your grandparents' lawn?
Yes,
Was that
before
one?
a wedding,
No,
Auntie's
before
wedding.
a wedding, yeah, that was
and he got on the lawnmower. I want to go because I was on the lawnmower. I want to go. All right, and grandfather put him on.
It was like a golf lawnmower, as in, like do the golf course.
Rear,
So it's
free
like,
wheeler, rear wheel
has
steer,
massive,
like,
So
and he just went to the end
turning
and
bit
just
got me a bit.
turned and just went basically into the flower bed and just took the whole lot out, flew out again. Awful. Yeah.
Sorry, Granny.
We used to have old banger cars, and you decided that you think you could go up this sort of side of a bit of soil, and you rolled it onto the side and just sat there in the field where Dad was working, everyone was working, just beeping the horn until someone came and saved him.
I was stuck, mate. I can get out.
Then he got pushed back over. They pushed him back. He was fine then. There you go. It's awful though. You are an awful driver.
I am.
You won't admit it, but yeah.
Yeah. We had doing. See, this is how little I know about farming. It was sugar beet, right?
Sugar beet harvesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have something at the front that chops it. And then the machine in the back obviously collects it. And my dad said, knew how bad it was.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then
Then
it
it comes out of the bit and
Yeah.
into the back of your trailer. Anyway, my dad was like, whatever you do, like obviously don't hit anything, but do not hit the front. Like, do not, that thing is like really expensive. Do not hit the front. I was like, yeah, like, Christ, of course I'm going to hit the front. Like, behave. Like, you just worry about you driving your tractor, mate. Like, I'm quite all right in mine. Anyway, we went and I thought, I can't remember who was actually driving the beet harvester, but whoever, I thought he was going to turn right and not left. So I thought he was going to go right, and I was just going to go like almost around him right as well. But he turned left, and I turned right, and I absolutely twatted it. Oh. Anyway, he was going mad in the cab, and I thought, well, not much I can do about it. So I drove off, and there's some woodlands not far away. I just parked it in there, like waited a couple of hours to let the heat die down, and then
completely bent all the front of the topper up.
Then resurfaced. I was like, right, here we go. I just set myself out of a situation because I knew you'd be cross, but I'm back.
I'm here to help now. Yeah. Looks like you look
like what? Someone smashed the front of this. It was you, mate.
Idiot. Someone stole the tractor.
Yeah.
You put one in a ditch as well. You said a deer ran out in front of you.
Yeah. There's been some. Yeah, basically, I will not. Yeah, Ash. No, I'm not.
Ash is not allowed. No way.
Nowhere near it. What do you remember about Coley in your academy days? Because Coley came and popped down the farm. But what's your memories of Coley in the academy days?
Do you remember me coming on the farm?
I do, yep. You went subsoiling.
Yeah, I did. I drove across when I was like 17. I met you. I had my Ford cat, green Ford cat. I went out the window and turned over, got fucking sunburned. Driving out the A47, just one arm. I was like, I'm really hurt.
You were literally like
completely burnt.
And you ate some food, man.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
You were piling, didn't you?
We came, and then basically, met you and you were 15 or something in your Toulouse shirt.
We did a bit of irrigation.
Yeah, my Toulouse shirt.
Yeah, got soaked by one of those. Yeah. Because I was stood by it and you like pulled it off and it just fucking churned and just threw all water in me, like, brilliant. 6 a.m. in the morning, love it. Then I went subsoiling. And
yes, you did.
I'm going to credit you. Ploughing is hard.
Yes.
Ploughing in a straight line is a lot harder than it seems.
I'll be the judge of this.
It's a bit easier now with GPS, Coley, but it is actually hard to go straight.
Yeah, but let's say, it's like your dad was like, just pick a thing at the front and then pick a thing in the distance and just aim for that.
And Coley can't see further than 10 metres,
like,
so great work, Dad. Great coaching.
And then you look out the back and you're like, oh no, I missed half of it.
Trick is when you look behind, just to let go of the wheel. That is the trick. Because you always pull the
Thanks
wheel.
for that advice 15 years later.
It's true.
Talking of like,
next time, Coley.
A lot of lads, to be fair, used to come and visit us in the off-season of the farm. But one of my favourite ones was Stanko and Fraser Balmain. Boris Stanko and Fraser Balmain came. But what they decided to do was like, they came down, leave at lunch. But what they did was they got a McDonald's beforehand, right? And it was like, right, you got to eat all you can eat, but you're not allowed to drink with it. Right. So they ate as much as they could at McDonald's. They weren't allowed to drink with it. They said, because the time we get to Norfolk, that first beer is going to taste so amazing. So they basically filled their boots at McDonald's, then drove like 2.5 hours without having a drink. By the time they got there, mate, they were like gasping. Right? But then by the time they had 2 beers, they're absolutely steaming.
Yeah, Stanko had a headache then. I got a terrible skull ache, mate.
Well, I've got a question from Jack. What connection do you feel to the club, having been a key player, the captain, obviously family involved, the history of it, and then obviously having retired? Is it weird having to walk into the ground amongst fans?
No, I don't think it is at all. I think I think one thing I've gone away from the Leicestershire, if you know what I mean. I'm in Norfolk, so a life starts there, doesn't it? So that takes over. I don't come back that often to Leicester to watch many games. I come back to a few games, and I generally just love just going back in there underneath, have a couple of beers, watch the game, and then do whatever. And I'm not really one to be sentimental about it, I suppose. It was, I played there, loved everything. The game moves on, the shirt moves on to someone else, as you guys are going to find out, and that's where it goes. And it's their time now, innit? And your time's gone, and if you can be proud of that, that's fair enough. But not really. It is, I love just coming back and watching, really.
We've got another question from a listener, Monty Moore. Is Crofty still talking at De Montfort Hall?
Yes, he is. He was awful, wasn't he?
This was our live show.
It was our live show.
We had, who came on stage? We had Ollie Chesham, just been named as the
Brilliant.
Lion.
Yeah.
We had George Martin, who didn't want to be there,
Yeah.
But was
there
very
excellent.
Brilliant,
We had Crofty and Tom join us on stage. The back
We
end.
were supposed to talk about
retirement.
the retirement. The
Lions,
Lions. The
yeah,
Lions.
yeah.
It was our Lions tour. Crofty went
'Cause it's just been
2013,
announced,
been announced, and that kind of stuff, and our Lions memories. Crofty gets on stage, hit with his first joke, didn't he? And after that, half hour, he wouldn't shut up. And it was just like, I tried to ask anyone else a question. He was like, abusing you.
Oh.
It was just like, getting these laughs. And he's just literally, he's still talking now.
He was great, but he loved it, didn't he?
Oh, he
And actually,
loved it.
Tom Fordyce was there.
Yeah.
He obviously does books.
Yeah.
Obviously an author, part of Crowd Network. He was there. And I did notice after the show, when we're having a few beers post-show, Crofty had collared Tom. And I could see him leaning against the bar. And I think he was like, mate, you ain't seen anything yet. I've got hours of material.
Loads of
I've got loads of
stories.
stuff. How many chapters in Lord of the Rings, mate? I'll double it. That's how many good stories I've got. So I think a book deal's pending.
Crofty.
Yeah.
He had 2 beers, mate. He wouldn't shut up after that, would he? Jesus Christ.
So obviously when you come back, though, but do you miss the game? Like, do you miss being part of the team and
No,
playing?
and that's no offence to anyone or anything like that. I just don't. I think life just moves on. I'm lucky because I love my farming and I love my rugby, and I had two great things I want to do in my life. So I've been very lucky and fortunate that I can go straight back into something. And I think almost just going back to Norfolk, you almost go cold turkey on rugby full stop, because you just go out away from Leicester. So no, you still have your close relationships anyway with the people you got on well with and you respected. I didn't miss the change room too much. I don't know how you guys feel, but sometimes you feel like the gulf of your age is getting up there. So you're like the top end of it, the age, and the young boys are down here, and you just got so much. You're not got a lot in common, and it's just a bit difficult. And I think life moves on, and that I just don't miss it. Like generally, it took my body probably a good year to get over rugby, and if it's a lot better now. I'm fat, yes, but it's a lot better way with my joints and stuff like that. And don't do what I did though, and try and do some stupid superhero thing.
We were talking about this the other day.
Oh my God, ridiculous! What a stupid plan that was.
It was like,
in short, you basically got your Sammy Barrett, your good
so
friend.
yeah, a good friend called Sammy Barrett went round his. We had a Sunday roast, got stuck into the red wine, and he was like. And we're talking about it, and I was like, maybe I need something for my head just to focus my head. And he was like, yeah, so do I need that as well. And we were like, both, yeah, come on, let's do something. Let's do I don't want to do a marathon. I was like, I don't want to do a marathon. He's like, no, I don't want to do a marathon. He's like, what about this thing called the superhero? And I was like, and I heard about the superhero because a good friend called Pixie does the superhero. So I kind of knew what the superhero is about. I knew it's very hard to get on there. And it's like a mile swim, 4-mile kayak, 45-mile bike. I think it's a 9-mile run on the beach or something like that. Anyway, and so I was like, Sam's like, should we do that? And I was like, yeah. Thinking, right, you know what? It takes about 3 years to get on this sort of thing. Anyway, 2 days later, rings me up, we're on. And I'm like, how are we on? He says, I'm the main sponsor of it, mate. And I was like, oh, God. So we had to start this training to do it. And all things were going well, into the winter, farm life was slow. And then it was just the bit at the end of the springtime when work gets really bad and we need to do the swim and we need to do more biking. And I just didn't do it and ended up falling off my bike 3 times for a mile 36 to 38, really. So that was me done. Yeah, didn't do it. Did the swim. I looked like a whale coming out of there. I ripped my wetsuit, so I was like half drowning. But it was so bad. Harpoon that whale as its seal comes out the water. But
it was like a kayak, because you watch the next kayak go past it. There must be about. No, it's not him.
No.
It's like, next one.
Back.
He's really struggling.
Your surgically repaired spine.
So that's what
well
happened. Two things. I got on the bike post thing. Some bloke went, Coy's a big lad to be doing this. And I thought, I'm in trouble there. And Coley, no joke, 10 miles in, sciatica down my left side. I was like, oh God, this is not good. So, yeah.
Well, we were watching and cheering.
I know.
We had to almost wait. And then he sent me a message of you falling off his bike in all these stingy nettles. And they're like, he's just fallen off again. I was like, again?
Yeah.
Anyway, and then you rang me and was like, yeah, mate, I've sacked it off. I'm like double crap.
done.
Got sciatica. My back's killing me. I can't
awful.
do it anymore.
Awful. Awful.
Good effort.
Yeah, there we go.
Moral of the story, Coley, is when we retire.
Give up. Don't exercise. Don't exercise. Yeah,
If you're going
brilliant.
to do that, like maybe just do like a little triathlon or
Train
some sort
for it.
of little, not such a big effort really, but there we go.
Well, I'll tell you what can help with that, mate, is Thriver.
Thriver.
There you go. You can make informed life decisions, which would have put you in better stead.
Yeah, and remember to
Things
put
like
the
that.
discount code in as well. All right,
And the thing
because
is, we have got a discount code, because
Yeah.
don't do what Tom did. And he was like, I love that blood stuff. It sounds like right up my street. I was like, yeah, crack on, mate. He says, is it worth doing? I said, yeah, absolutely. And he gets it, and he forgets to put in the code.
Yeah, never mind.
Because we have a code for you. So that is Love of Rugby, and you'll get 20% off. And Sheriff, how's your levels at the moment?
For people that don't know, Thriver is a at-home blood test subscription, and basically you can go on an app, subscribe, see what tests you want to do, and Thriver will send out a couple of at-home blood sort of sample things, which you then send away. It's really easy to do. Takes to the 5 minutes, send it off to the lab, and you get results in a couple of weeks. I've had mine. We've got some good markers for retirement to try and keep up with.
Watch them go down there, lad.
Yeah. Well, my testosterone, I got my results back. My testosterone's already coming down. I'm like, that's not a good sign. But I've stopped lifting weights a long time ago, so I can't blame that. So it's not as if I'm not really lifting weights. I'm like, well, testosterone.
You were lifting weights 3 years ago.
Exactly, mate. And it's already dropping. I'm like, what was it? Maybe that's just you just peaked. But
And Hollis always used to say, down the cliff, mate.
Well, at least we can track it now, because I've actually got
exactly
markers from January.
Yep.
And then now I've got markers again from May, and I dread to see my markers come the end of the summer.
Big summer ahead, mate.
Big summer ahead, because you must have when you retire, there must be a honeymoon period where
Yeah, I'm still in it, I think.
you can eat and drink and do what you want. But actually, I think the fact that it's a subscription, you can do that. I can actually check and go, okay, I might have burnt the candle by
That's what I do think. Like, it's going to keep us honest, put it that way. Because I think, like as you say, you can have like your period of like enjoying yourselves, and you kind of look at yourself and might think, I'm not in the nick of it, that's fine.
athlete.
But when you actually see
fall off.
exactly, but when you actually see the data saying that you may or may not be getting unhealthy, then you know what I mean. It gives you something to change. Actually, also bits to focus on. But yeah, because otherwise, I think you could just we could both basically put a load of weight and then be like, I'm all right, and then you're not. So
You do some sort of exercise and realise you're really not all right. Yeah.
Do you look back at like some of the sessions that we used to do?
Oh.
Do you look back now and think, how on earth did I do that?
So when I played that charity game for Ed Slater,
There we go.
and oh my Jesus, like actually just making a tackle again and getting off the floor, how hard that is. Like because you look back and you think, well, you used to do that easy, and then you sort of go and do it again. It's like, oh my goodness, can't do that. No, but you are extremely fit at the moment. You don't realise how fit you probably are compared to the real world, if you know what I mean.
The fear is it's a lot quicker to get unfit than it is to get fit. But at least with Thriver, we'll have a bit of a marker.
but I think with Thriver as well, like we can, like it's not about being like a perfect saint in
No,
everything
it's
we do,
not,
is it?
yeah.
It's actually you have to live your life and you have to enjoy yourself and you have to relax and you have to have a beer and stuff. But Thriver will be able to track stuff that's vitally important for your health and longevity and just general well-being. And I think that's great for us as we venture into the unknown, Ben.
Well, more informed decisions, Coley, which is basically what it is. So if you want to join us on our Thriver journey, well, we have a code for you. You can get 20% off. Just use the code LOVEOFRUGBY, and the link is in the episode description.
That's Love Rugby for 20% off your first blood test. Tom, you're a former Tigers captain, England legend, and Lions tourist, and we put a request for you on social media for questions, and 80% of those are about farming.
Of course.
Unfortunately, this isn't a farming podcast.
No,
Do you know what?
it
Maybe you could launch a farming
For the love
podcast.
of farming.
Yeah.
For the love of
For the love
farming.
of farming.
Yeah, maybe we could launch a. I know
Someone
some
did
people.
approach me about that, and I thought, "There's no chance of it for the love of farming." That is, come on, we can think of a
Actually,
different name.
on YouTube, there's like some. There's these. They're in Iowa, I think. They're like, I think it's farm talk, something like that. But I actually end up watching it. They're like hog farmers in America. But anyway, talk about lamb prices. It's really interesting.
Well, no, I want to know more about this farming podcast.
Yeah.
Who would be your partner? Who do you want to do it with? Caleb?
God, it'd be good to have Caleb, wouldn't it?
Jeremy?
No, you got to have someone in Norfolk.
Yeah.
Norfolk boys.
Yeah, you don't want to travel too far.
Rick Perry Warren's is just down the road from me, like literally half a mile. So maybe he's a good choice.
Yeah.
He goes like that, Rick. He's always like that. He goes all high pitch. That'd be quite funny.
Well,
And he's got
get
a bar
subtitles
in his
at the bottom,
workshop,
that's the,
so we go down there.
Yeah.
He's got Hawkston on tap, so we can go down there and do our podcast down there.
there you go. And actually,
Surely, like, but there's
well,
like
JVP wants to.
JVP,
He wants to farm when he retires.
Yeah.
So
Who else,
it might just be in the. He might have to wait a while.
Yes.
He's got about 10 years.
I've then
left.
got to remember my rugby career at that point.
Yeah.
He
No,
retires.
you're talking about farming.
It's farming.
true.
Farming
fine.
podcast.
Yeah, true, it's not- yeah.
It'll be drones, but maybe
Absolutely.
tried it by then, mate. It won't be doing any
Yeah.
farming. It'll just be GPS.
No,
and
Coley,
drones.
I'm old school. I'm going to hold out. I'm always going to drive a tractor.
Okay.
I'm not having any of this robotic things.
Is there electric tractors yet?
No, there's not. No, hydrogen is what they're looking at. Electric tractors, too bigger batteries for the power you need to do them, so it wouldn't work. But nice, mate. I
Crush
like
the
it.
fields, mate.
Yeah.
It's apparently the problem with the Tesla trucks. Because it's like Tesla's lorries, but because the battery's so heavy, they can't actually tow anything. Like they're too heavy for the roads.
It's just like-
like they can go like 500 miles and like don't use any like CO2, but we can't tow anything, lads, because as soon as we put anything in the back,
Can
it's
you
over
bring
the
that
road
for
limits,
me?
so we
Yeah.
can't do
Can
it.
you get a lorry in to take
Yeah.
that up there for me?
As soon as there's a load, the
Like
battery
0
goes
to
from
60 in like
500
3
to
seconds
100.
and like this. We're not a farming podcast, but we'll let you answer one farming question. It's from James. James writes, obviously Tigers are an elite rugby team, much like a Fendt tractor.
Oh,
If
amen,
John
brother.
Deere are the most iconic global brand, which team would they be? And what other tractor brands match up? E.g., Bristol is clearly a JCB fast track, and Bath would be David Brown.
It's a bit harsh on Bath, isn't it? But there you
I
go.
don't,
It's
well,
I don't know what David Brown is.
It's an old. It's a
David
very
Brown-
old tractor.
But didn't he
So
buy
I guess he's
Aston
meaning
Martin?
because it's an old city.
Because that's why Aston Martin's are DB7s and stuff like that. Because they're
Oh, because
David
it's
Brown,
Dave,
mate.
Big David Brown.
yeah.
Well, Dave.
Well, Lamborghinis are.
Yeah, Lamborghinis, mate.
Lamborghinis made tractors originally,
do.
didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, they still do.
Dukes
but,
took them over, and now you can obviously get them logoed up in Lamborghini, not Dukes.
Can you?
Yes, you can. That's what Jeremy Clarkson's got. So
so if Tigers
he wants
are
me to name tractors to.
teams, or let's think of tractor brands, and then
Yes.
you can think of a team. So obviously, if Fendt is the best,
Leicester Tigers.
Leicester Tigers, yeah. John Deere is iconic.
So it have to be an old Gloucester, I suppose, something like that, or
Maybe they're Bath.
Bath.
Well, Bath's got an iconic
Iconic. It's an iconic city, isn't it?
and team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Name some of the tractor brands. We've got JCB.
Massey Ferguson. And we'll go red big, and we'll go with Gloucester.
Yeah.
JCB. Obviously, he's picked.
He's
James
picked Bristol
picked Bristol
because
they're
the fast track is
fast track.
could do 40 miles.
Zeta, Northampton, because of the worst brand. That's what else we got. God,
New Holland.
New Holland. What could New Holland be?
Sale.
Sale.
Look at you, mate.
Go with Sale.
It was the only thing I was allowed to drive. I think.
Yeah, old one. Sale, New Holland.
Ford.
Ford. Well, that is
The same.
That's New Holland.
Yeah, but I was giving you an extra
no,
tractor.
Okay, we're gonna Ford. You go Newcastle can be Valtra, good mix of sort of things. And who else we got? I can't even think. Clubs we got. Case can be.
Where does Case sit?
Forgot
in the-
about Case.
Yeah,
Are they still making it?
Fendt
Well,
at the
Case,
top, is
Case
it?
and New Holland actually the same tractor.
Okay.
Just branded different, bit different in the cab.
Yeah.
And different, obviously colour.
Does one cost more than the other?
They're very much similar. I think the New Holland's a little bit more expensive, but probably holds its value a fraction more.
Okay.
So
So the
yeah.
best tractors are Fendt, right?
Yeah, but it's also got the biggest price tag on it.
Right.
But drive a tractor, I drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have what I want in some regards.
Question from Danny. Talk us through your transition from centre to hooker. How long did it take? Obviously, understanding that position. Set piece.
A long time, like, because you got to learn a set piece. I think I was probably 2 years. I went to Nottingham for 2 years. I sort of Heineken Mayer's the guy who made the decision to do it. I was happy with that. He then left. Cockers then took it on. I went to Nottingham and played 60-odd games for them in 2 seasons. Luckily, didn't injured. I came back to Leicester then. But it took a long time. The scrummaging factor, obviously had great boys like Coley, Meffin Davies, George Shooter, Boris Stankovic, Julian White to help with that sort of stuff. And a lot of that was actually just be really aggressive and learn the technique later on a little bit, just fly yourself in, which I was happy with. The throwing aspect, I don't think I ever cracked really. I don't think I was ever a naturally good thrower. Do you know what I mean? It was always had to be time spent on it and everything like that. So that took a long time to crack down. So yeah, I think it was a good 2 years before I felt comfortable. I remember the first couple of games I played, I didn't know actually I knew how to play rugby obviously, but not in that position. I didn't know what I was meant to be doing, where I was meant to be. I was almost like 10 I felt 10 steps behind everything in front of me because I didn't know what I was meant to be doing. And then it sort of got better and better the more you played. And I was lucky. I went to Nottingham and the guys up there were brilliant. Glenn Delaney, coach. Simon Hardy was another one who helped with the throwing a lot and, managed to sort of pave my way and play loads and just as we all know, playing, you just get better and better with playing, an aspect of it. So, yeah, it was a good couple of years to then get back to Leicester.
I think with like the throwing as well is it's when players can see, like line-up callers can see what you offer like around the field and throwing yourself into everything. The commitment is they can spend a lot more time with you at line-outs. They will call to and spend time with you throwing and shapes. Because I remember there was like pre-season stuff like even like Lewis Deacon and blokes like that would be willing to go through stuff with you over like a couple of times or call it to the front and stuff rather than some hookers I've seen in Leicester, especially where it's just like if you're a bit of a dickhead, it was like, no, you've missed it, next. Yeah. Whereas like when you actually put investment around the field and show you willing and committed and stuff like this. Yeah, you can build a line out around. You don't have to be 100. You don't have to be like be able to throw a ball through a needle.
Jamie George is an exceptional thrower. Unbelievable. Could throw the ball anywhere you wanted to put it. Yeah. I was limited of where I could throw, and as you say, Coley, line out leaders understood how I threw and then fit the line out to that. And you'd always have your favourite throw to go to when things weren't going quite right, and they knew what to go to post if I'd thrown a not straight or we'd been stole a couple off me and stuff like that. But no, and like Nick Rouse, do you remember Nick Rouse at Nottingham? He was very good as well. And those guys at Nottingham, because I was crap then, I was a beach ball in the wind, mate. It didn't know. I remember throwing once, it landed scrum half hands. It was dreadful, but there we go. One thing I could do was fly around the field and do other bits to it. But they were so good at looking after me, helping me along. And actually, one of the things I did win at Nottingham, which I was really proud of, was I won Players Player of the Year. And I wasn't the best player because I felt like we'd lose games potentially because of line-outs, whatever, but they saw the commitment I was throwing in. And the one thing I wanted to do was make Nottingham my club. Yes, I wanted to get to Leicester, but I needed to make Nottingham my club. It wasn't a stepping stone, is in like my attitude towards it was not a stepping stone. My attitude was I'm all in here because I know I need to be really good here to then get the next level. So, it's a very good club.
We've got a question from Marcus. What were the best and worst things about playing for Leicester, England, and the Lions with your brother?
He's a bit uncontrollable sometimes. No, I'm generally, I think we're very fortunate to be able to have done everything together. I don't think there was any bad times at all. Best times are, like we always say, like the games you shouldn't win. The Lions on that, playing for England together, are unbelievable achievements on their own, but to do it together is very special. And I feel very fortunate to be able to have done that opportunity. I wouldn't highlight anything really. I just think all of it in it was just fantastic. And we had a great time doing it.
Yeah, I think that's unique because obviously you share your highest highs and your lowest lows together, and you can kind of, you can speak to someone about it. Like, when you sit down with certain people, that they just, it's not their fault. They just can't get it. Yeah. They can't get it. Like they don't get it, and they never will get it. And it's not their fault, but it's very hard then to use them as a sounding board because they just can't process like some of it, of like those feelings of working so hard towards something and maybe not getting what you wanted or getting the result or selection and form and all these things. Like it's a real hard. But then actually having someone who knows exactly what it's like and doing all that is awesome. I think for Tom as well, so often like he paved the way for me. He left home to start with. Went to the academy. He, ultimately, I watched him go do something, and I was like, I want to do exactly the same. And then obviously, to then achieve what we did together makes it so unique. And I think a lot of people often have sibling rivalry, don't they?
Yeah.
Or tend to, they like have rivalry and all these bits, and you hear about that. We've just never been like that.
No, we haven't.
We've never had this.
I think we're just very different characters as well.
Yeah,
I think that helps as well. But no, we've never been competitive. We always wanted the best for each other. I think, when you say about, knowing what, and the difference between the general public or friends outside of rugby, they don't realise how hard you have to work in it to achieve it. And I think when you stand with players who you've gone all the way through with, or, sibling with, like, you realise how hard they've had to work to achieve what they've achieved. And people on the outside look at the glory and all this greatness, but there's some real dark days in that. And some very much, you're committed, you're working extremely hard, and it's a tip of the hat to guys like yourself, like, to achieve that. And that's what I like about it. It's like, we all know how hard we've actually worked, and that's quite a nice feeling to have.
When you're in it and you're rubbing shoulders with each other, like, there's times of sessions they push you to the absolute limit, and you think, I don't think I can even get through this rep, but you do. I don't think I can get through the next one, but you do, because, and it sounds corny, but because left and right of you are doing exactly, everyone's in the same hole, battling it. And I think fundamentally, like you said, Tom, like, people see the Saturday and all the good bits, but they don't see the graft and the commitment and the fucking hard work that goes in. And you can never get away from that. Like, Leicester is built on, people say, oh, Leicester's built this and this. And I think the biggest thing about Leicester's culture is, like, guys just get on with it. Like, they just work hard and they get on with it. Yeah, we love a sap and a moan, who doesn't? But we do it. We still get out there and do it.
Yeah.
And I think hard work, you can never, sort of, any young listener out there, I'm not trying to inspire you or anything, but, like, it all comes back to hard work. When you went from centre to hooker, like, you didn't know how that was going to end up, but you threw yourself into it every day to try and get as good as you can be at that position. Like, Coley, I've watched you do it for your entire career, mate. Like, you never miss a session. Like, you're remarkable. Like, and it's just like, yeah, you can never get away from the fact that it takes an incredible amount of mental discipline and resolve to just keep getting after it, even when you don't want to.
Were there times where you're obviously club captain and you were quite a high profile 9, whether England, Leicester or whatever, and there were times when Leicester weren't going too well?
Yeah.
Were there any times when you felt that, obviously, your brother, you have to, like, there are times when you've been slagged off in your career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry to break it to you, but there have been times.
No, I caught you a few times.
Yeah. But has there been, as a brother and stuff like that?
I heard you in the corridor.
Did you ever feel you were ever put in a position where, like, people are trying to get to him through you, or, you know what I mean, or you had to step in and sort of, like, go, enough, or did people just not bring that to your door?
There's a couple of times people brought it to my door, I suppose. You have to tread very carefully, I think, when it was sibling, because actually he is my brother, like, and that is a line there. And I am,
because also, like, there are times when as forwards we'd obviously be fucking brilliant, and the backs would be shit.
Yeah,
and like,
oh, there's time,
your brother, and like, like
he's tapped and gone, and we're like, fucking knobhead. He's like, you twat. But you also, I also know how to communicate with him. So, like, it wouldn't take a lot. But if people said to me, like, your brother's not on, he's not in the game, I'd be like, leave it with me, I'll go and have a chat with him.
Yeah.
But equally, I'd also say, like, he's a bit of a sulker, just let him sulk. He'll be fine. He'll get his head in the game eventually. Just let him be. But yeah, I think you have to tread very carefully. I remember Cockers once on the sideline called him a CUNT in a game, and I said, you can't call him that. And like, because it was my natural instincts to protect him, and I was like, you can't call him that. He's like, I said, you can't call him that. Call him anything else. Just don't call him that, please. And it was quite a funny moment, but really, I was just like, can't be having
two angry men staring each other
out. Literally. With me and Cocker had a few of those moments.
Yeah, he did. He loved it though, dude.
He loved it.
To be honest, you jumped in and protected him when you were fully in Genji.
Yeah.
So
came in for a sneaky few, didn't he? Standing, bro.
That was Bateman getting bitched once again. Well done, Bateman.
We were watching that, so we were on the side watching it, and I say Genji being young, Genji tells, didn't he? Where he was like chatting away, and then you're like, do it again, just shut up, Genji, do it again.
Yeah.
I'll whack you. Next thing, you whacked him. Yeah. Genji's like, what's going on? And you just jumped in out of nowhere.
Yeah. I think he thought like a bug was hitting him or something. He didn't know what was going on. No. Sort of washed it off. That relationship thing is always difficult. It's always difficult, isn't it? Because not difficult. It's not actually. It's not difficult.
It's not difficult.
But like people want to. Sometimes people want to like try and humble you or like put you down. It's like, no, mate, I don't need you to humble me. Like we will make sure we're both exactly where our feet are. Like, do you know what I mean? I think that's the bit that kind of, people want to kind of sometimes want to try and like
give you a little dig.
Give you a dig, and you're like,
yeah.
But
I think, Coley, we had a really good group of players, didn't we? I know you, bro. We all sort of came through the system all together, and we could pretty much say anything to each other in some regards, and we would always pull each other through the shit in front of us in some regards, and keep ourselves going, because there were some dark times on those fields. There were some proper dark times.
I think that's the other thing as well. Like, people forget, like, for large periods, we had huge success at the club.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
but there was also a chunk of it where it wasn't successful, and we had coaches coming in and out of the door. We had a lot of players coming in and out, and you had to deal with all that, and obviously, your personal life as well, which everyone knows about.
Yeah,
and deal with that, and you were having to do that and lead the club, deal with a team that's not performing, deal with players, coaches coming in and out the door. Like, the resolve to do that is like phenomenal, really.
So I do think, like, say, regards to the captain, I think, unfortunately, some of your finest work as captain came when we were crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I sometimes always think, like, sometimes it's easy. Not easy, but when your team's going well and you're winning.
Winning's easy, isn't it? Like, in some regards. Because everyone's sort of going, it's all it flows.
And if there is an issue and you don't play well, but you win the game, then you can still, people can still, like, you can still work in. Exactly. Whereas, like, when you sort of losing week in, week out, and you're captain, you have to hold, because as soon as you lose, well, blokes who aren't in the match day 15 or 23 go, I should be playing. Well, when you win, you could have a crap performance, but you win. It's like, well, the team's winning, it's fine. Yeah. It's like, when you lose as many games, you get people stepping up there and going, I should play. And sometimes that can be real, disruptive, really. That doesn't help at all. It makes it worse. And say, unfortunately, you had to captain Leicester through those periods when we must have got relegated, didn't we? And that kind of stuff. Yeah. And like, they were, tough times, mate. Very tough times for it. But I think, like anything, you get through them and make you a better person in some regards, and a better captain, I suppose, I felt from those experiences. And as you say, it's winning is easy. When you're losing, you're also in a rut where you will keep losing because of the pressures and you're just not confident. You're very fragile in a game of rugby where you should be winning, or you are winning, and the last 10 minutes you lose just because you've lost the last 6 before that. And it's a hard thing to get through. But like, having stepped away from it and seen you boys win that trophy in 2022, was it 22.
22 was unbelievable, because that season we a massive rebuild under Steve, wasn't it? And then it all went, and the way you played that season, and I remember you beat Bristol away, like never meant it, and you beat Bristol away. Did you beat Clermont away, or in a European Cup? I was just like, this team is properly flying now, and amazing how you get everything in tune right, get a good squad of players together, get them on the right tracks, and away you go. Really, the growth will get better and better.
We've got a question from Johnny Smith. He says, Tom, your experience rugby at the highest level, whilst also dealing with incredibly tough personal challenges off the field, how did your love for rugby evolve during those times, and do you think adversity deepens that connection to the game or changes it entirely?
I think when you go through stuff like I've gone through, I think you take, I suppose, with the losing stuff, Coley, like, you're like, this is bad, but there's bad, and then there's bad. So it probably did keep me quite a level, like, in some regards, like
contextualizing the fact that it's ultimately a game.
It's a game, and do I want to win? Yes. Do I want to win for the fans? Yes. Do we want to win? Of course we do. But at the same time, it is a game, and it's a fantastic game. It's a game I love and would always want to win. But at the same time, there is bigger issues going on outside of rugby. Personally, like, I was going through what I was going through. You know, players might have a mum who's not very well, or a father who's not very well. There's big things going on sometimes in people's lives, and that's very hard. But also, I think it made me, again, leveler to realise that we're not as bad as we think we are. We're not as good as we think we are. We're somewhere in the middle. And also, this is still just a game. We can get better. We can keep improving. We may need to find the way of where we need to improve. But there's also bigger things to worry about in life. I think that has also helped me post-rugby as well. I think that's like in farming world or whatever it is, like business and money, all that. I'm just a lot more level and calmer about things, really, because I know what is bad. And I also know what is bad, but it's not really that bad. You know what I mean?
Do you think rugby helped you, gave you a focus that wasn't, as in, you knew how sort of dark it was off the field and stuff, but actually with rugby kept you, not present, you know what I mean? But it gave you a focus that was like a game. You are just thinking about a game.
Distracted you from the other stuff.
I could zone in on that bit, right? And I always, cliche, I used to drive in that car park drop off the stuff, like was going off the field, do my job, fly into it, enjoy being around you boys, and go home and deal with whatever. But it was a distraction. It kept my mind ticking in the right way. And that was, it was very, very, a lot to it really, because it kept me sane in some regards and kept me driving forward, and it kept me in the fight, I suppose.
Question from Kev. Ben dines out on the fact that he's a Triple R bastard because he supposedly fought Eben Etzebeth, but wasn't actually Tom, Dan and Joe Launchbury who saved the day.
Kev, I don't dine out on it. It's just fact, mate. I don't need to shout about it. Proof's there, mate. Watch it on YouTube. I'll put a link in the episode description if you want. All right, some people might have come and helped me, but I had it all covered. I've said it before on the pod. Evan's actually he's actually a really lovely bloke off the pitch.
Yeah.
Terrifying on it. But for 1 second, I saw the look in his eye. And he was not scared.
You pull him over the hoardings. What did you grab the?
I just grabbed him. I thought he's a tall bloke, and I'm obviously very short. Get him to the floor as quick as possible. Yeah, and I did. Yeah, but I also remember getting choked out because someone was pulling my shirt. I know it was one of our players, and it was like choking me out as I was trying to push his head in to the grill bit on the side there.
He's a
nice player.
He's a good bloke, but he plays tough. Like Christ, he plays tough. Yeah. And actually, it's nice because you know the way the rugby is now. Like those modern day enforcers are actually hard to come by.
Yeah.
But long live them.
Can
especially now I'm retiring. Another one gone. Eh? Another modern enforcer gone.
Could you give your side of the Mike Brown?
Oh yeah,
Coley, that is 100% true. Yeah, honestly, I couldn't stop laughing about.
Yeah, for those who don't know this popped up a while back on one of the podcasts as we were talking about Mike Brown and how we're playing New Zealand.
We'd lost previous 2 games, hadn't we? Beaten Fiji. We'd lost to Australia and South Africa. Obviously had New Zealand who were flying, and big week, and it was a funny old week because actually we did feel like we felt like we had to perform. You've got to perform against them, if not you get embarrassed. And it was almost the nervousness.
Yeah. But also, do you remember there was a presentation? I think Faz did a presentation, Big Faz on like a Tuesday. It was like, this is how we're going to beat them. Like they play off 9, off 10. Like this is the shape, and then just go after this. We knock them back.
Yeah.
And so beat. And after that, it was like, we're going to fucking beat these guys.
We're going to beat them. And he almost gave us that energy, didn't it? It was anyway, obviously Dan Carter was a very good looking man, bastard. Anyway, and he was a target, like, because these great players are. And I saw him at the bottom of a ruck, and just me being me, I thought if I fly in, because as again, I'm short, I can get away with a few things, like coming in. And I went to knee him, and literally he moved his head last second, and I just hit Brownie square in the nose so fucking hard. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, fuck, it's only Brownie. And he was going mental.
His nose exploded.
It was
literally after the game, his nose fair play to him.
So I was like, sorry, Brownie, mate.
Yeah, Brownie, fair play. Fair play to toughness, he carried on.
Brownie is a tough
He is a
tough
boy, yeah. Tough.
Talk about your knee. I remember we played Wasps, I think, in a semi.
Oh my god!
We lost right at the end in the first scrum. It was like
because they kept collapsing.
You collapsed all through all leading up to that game, like all Wasps scrums are like collapse. So we're like, right, if it goes down, we're going over the top of them, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, first scrum goes down. Next thing, this knee just whacks the tight at the top of the head. He's kneed him like proper. You could hear it. You could hear it back at the stand, mate. And like the refs looked at it, kind of gone, I think it's just gone down. I'm pretty sure he's knocked out. Yeah. And the replay is like showed it back, and it's literally you just see him clearly near him in the head, but it's like, oh, it's just a collapsed scrum, mate. It's fine.
Genji speaks about that one because I think he says, fucking hell, we didn't agree that. I thought we were just going to go over the top of them. I didn't realise.
Leave this one with me, lads.
Such a bar fight.
Yeah, but
Jesus, yeah.
We got a question from Grace. How does it feel to be an influencer on Instagram these days?
Fantastic. Yeah, it's I don't know. I think farming's in a real tricky way right now, and I just wanted to put some videos up really and showcase the farm, what we actually do. I think people are very disjointed from what they get in the supermarket and where it comes from. So I just thought if I could help out in any way, that's what I'll do. It's enjoyable. I like to try and make it funny, do some serious ones, but make it funny. And yeah, it seems to be going well, mate. You know, I got a bit off the back of it, which is quite nice. So, you know, it's good, as I say, to showcase what I do daily, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, and showcase what farming is about really, and how it's tough out there at the moment. Really tough industry to be in, and it's on a knife edge in some regards, I think, and that's quite scary for people. The way they're feeling about farming, that's really scary, and where it's heading, it's going to be an interesting 3 to 5 years. How much has changed in 10 months is quite scary to what we're going to face the next sort of year or into 5 years. Really, we'll see.
Do you have a lot of farmers contact you through social media and stuff? And
yeah, I do, Coley. Yeah.
They enjoy what you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like they appreciate what you do.
They do, and I think the key thing to it is just being honest, and also just showcasing when it's gone to shit, and when you're frustrated, and when it's going well. There's good times and bad times, but yeah, I try and showcase it in that way. And you get farmers on there saying, "Oh, I wish I could maybe do that," and I'm like, "Just do it. Just pick your phone, do some videos. Just get more of it out there." And people seem to enjoy it. I enjoy doing it, and it seems to be going quite well.
A lot of people ask me, and a lot of people want to know, is just how is life now? Obviously a lot of people know the situation.
Yeah, the situation.
Happened, but how is life now?
Life's good, actually. I think I found my feet. I've got, Maisie at home. I've got a new girlfriend called Kate, which is fantastic. We're getting on well. And life it's not as heavy as it was, if you know what I mean. It's not. I feel like I've got a bit more of a spring on my step again now, and it took a long time to process what I went through, and I'm not a big talker at times. I am a talker. If I'm not great, I'll just say I'm not great at the moment or whatever it is. But at the same time, I'm a thinker, and I think what sport does to you, you understand yourself really well, and you understand how you deal with things and what you need to be able to deal with things. And I feel like I've got through that now, and as I say, like, in a really good spot life now. I'm enjoying it, going things. Maisie's doing really well. Her main concern, the post-it was Maisie. My main concern was her, and getting her right. And that's tough, because a girl, she wanted to go to school the next day, off she goes. And it was almost like, it's not happened. 6 months later, shit has happened, and then you've got to deal with all that. And it's been good. We've got a good psychologist at school, and helped a lady called Kelly, who's been brilliant with her and really brought her out of her shell more and more, because she was very anxiety. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do this, as in come up on this trip if 2 years ago, probably 18 months ago. She was so full of separation anxiety, which, let's be honest, I don't blame her for that. But we're getting somewhere now. And as I say, life will it ever be the same? Probably not. That's reality. You've got a scar you got there, but you can make best out of life as much you want to do. And I'm a big believer in, if anyone's going through anything like I've been through, do not try and stop life, because you cannot. Life will just keep going forward. I think if you do try and stop it, you're probably going to get yourself in a bit of trouble. You've got to roll with life. Whatever it is, you've got to just keep going forward as best you can, and make best of the situation you got in some regards. I'm a very much a glass full kind of guy, and I feel like that probably helped me a lot. But don't try and stop it, because I think you can dig yourself in a deep hole very quickly.
I know that a lot of listeners will be very pleased to hear that, mate. And
no,
obviously I know that. Coley knows that, but a lot of people want to know.
Like, and life being good, that's okay as well. I think I found that quite tricky. Actually, being happy was like weird. Like, should I be happy? Shouldn't I be happy? But yeah, you should be happy. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Tiff didn't do anything wrong. The situation happened, and we have to then move on from that. And that's tough to say, but that's reality. And you've got to be okay that you are happy, if you know what I mean, in some regards.
Well, I know darts is not your thing. We never had a dartboard growing up or anything, did we?
No.
Not even that. Like, even
we'll allow one, mate.
No, not the house.
Dad, that's too much money. No way. No. Too dangerous.
Too dangerous darts.
It's dangerous trot. You can't let them have that.
Before we do darts, you need a dart name. Benny's been hard at work in the background, and Coley hit us with a.
We've got Michael Van Germination.
Germination.
James Spade. Eric Bristmo. Bullseyes. Then you got Phil the Plower Taylor.
That's quite good.
Phil the Power Baler.
Oh yeah.
Or Phil the Power Subsoiler.
Phil the Power Subsoiler. He's going low.
I like Phil the Power Baler.
I like that as well. Phil the Power Baler. Yeah.
Benny, good work, mate.
Right, yeah. Let's go darting. Every month, we, along with our partners, Etzebeth, are going to donate money to a local rugby club. If you want to enter, the link's in our episode description. If you're already entered and don't win today, don't worry, you'll be automatically rolled over into next month's draw, and you can only enter once. I have a randomiser, so let's get randomising. Clubs to look out for. Spleg Sevens want the money for tournament entry fees. Hitchin Rugby Football Club want the money for Colts tour shirts, with anything spare going on a full English for the coaches. And Crediton want money to build a new clubhouse by 2030. And the winners are Lightwater Rugby Football Club, who want to spend the money on some beer and bibs that don't stink of sweat. Well done to them. Let's go darting.
Here we are with Phil the Power Baylor. Really simple. For every point you score is worth £10. That will go to that rugby club. You've got 3 darts, and then you have a bonus bill dart at the end, because everyone, no matter what's happened in the past, deserves a juicy bonus.
£200. £10. That's £120, which gives you £330. Now, for the bonus, you can go, green or red.
Green or red is absolutely fine. Red or green? Oh. How are you feeling?
I'm definitely better at bailing, I think, aren't I? So that's some money, isn't it? Sorry about the juicy bonus. I missed out on that one, but there we go.
I think you did a good job, mate. I think you probably surpassed my score. Was terrible when I did it.
I think Lightwater Rugby Football Club will be very happy with £330, Tom.
There we are. Thanks for coming, mate.
Pleasure. Thanks, lads.
For the love of rugby and Watch the Bath will make the donation, and every month we'll have a different guest on thrown at the dartboard.
Thanks for coming on, mate. And do you want to come on again to talk about 2013 on Wednesday?
I'd love to, mate. I'd absolutely love to.
For the love of rugby.
If you want to drop us a line, get involved with our socials.
Just search for @LoveOfRugby. And if you've listened to all our episodes and need another podcast, go and find Joe Marler's Things People Do.
See you next time.